Fordham is proud and delighted to name you the Avery Cardinal Dulles of the Society of Jesus Chair in Catholic Theology. We present you this night with this medal to acknowledge your position as a most accomplished researcher, educator, and mentor, and to signify your special place within the Fordham educational community. Terry, congratulations.
So, I appreciate you granting me this interview.
Thank you.
So is it a daunting task to fill the shoes of Cardinal Dulles?
As I said in the lecture, there's no way I'm filling Cardinal Dulles' shoes. He was a prolific figure whose theology was important and interesting in ways that affected much of North American theology. So I don't even aspire to fill his shoes. Rather, I just want to do what I do as well as I can in honor of him.
But to paraphrase Lloyd Benson on Dan Quayle, I'm no Avery Dulles. But I am deeply honored to hold a chair named for a great U.S. Catholic theologian. I know I express the gratitude of the entire university, as well as my own thanks to Vincent and Teresa Viola for their generous donation that has made this chair and our celebration tonight possible.
I learned from him is that in theology, our opponents should be our friends, not our enemies, because people who will intellectually joust with one will help one refine one's thinking and get closer to the truth. So,
I've read a lot of your profile stuff. I haven't read your books yet. Could you steer me to which one I should read first?
I think the one you should read first is this book called Faith, What It Is and What It Isn't. It lays out what faith, I think, is and what it's not. There are many misconceptions out there. And I'd follow that up with the book, The Disciples' Jesus. That is my second most recent book, and I think it really is a book that you can read without too much technical background.
So it's not a calling, like, so I was thinking that it was, you were called, like you were called to the priesthood almost, like, you know, like you were called to study theology because you had a yearning inside to learn more.
Some of us feel it very definitely as a calling, that this is something we couldn't avoid. Some of us, this is the kind of work we want to do, just as any history or English or philosophy professor does.
However, my own Dr. Fodder, following St. Augustine, put it best. The line between the church and the world passes right through each Christian heart. All of these questions and many others are asked by real people who cannot but live in both the church and the world.
Both patterns make perfectly good sense. We're not religious, we don't take vows, we're not ordained, we're just ordinary professors. The one difference is that theology is always done in the context not only of the academy and the society, which all academics need to relate to, but also the church.
And being that I'm here at Fordham, that means I have to take some religious studies classes. Could you suggest some professors that are really good to take besides yourself and your wife?
I've looked at the student evaluations of all the faculty, and my response is always, what are you interested in, or what do you think you might be interested in? And then I can make some recommendations.
So do atheists have the same values as Christians, and without having the Christian background, will you have those same set of values?
It's really interesting. I think it depends on exactly which atheist to whom you're speaking. My colleague Charlie Camosy is in the midst of a major research project. And his argument is, in one sense, very simple. This atheist and this traditionalist church and its fairly traditional teachings are really pretty much on the same page. So I think it's indeed possible for somebody who is an atheist to have very similar commitments to those that Christians have. Now, obviously, there's differences. A traditional humanist is not going to believe in life after death. So no heaven, no hell, no purgatory, none of that stuff. So what matters for the humanist is the effects in this world. But for what matters for Christians is how you live in this world. So there's tremendous overlap.
My last question is, can you tell me the concept, the Piss Christ concept? It came from your
Yeah, from the lecture. Well, the thing that the contemporary artist Andres Serrano, he is a very edgy, controversial artist.
It's called Piss Christ. It is done by Andres Serrano, deceased now, an American artist. People vilified this piece at great length. I want to suggest, and what it is a crucifix in a beaker of urine. Sounds vulgar.
It's said to be blasphemous, and I think it probably is blasphemous. But my point was to say that Catholics, there's a Catholic imagination, and that Catholic imagination is structured such that it believes that the bread and wine of the Eucharist, of the Holy Communion, really is the body and blood of Jesus Christ. If you use your imagination, you can see that this has a different message. As I said in the lecture, maybe, just maybe, this is God incarnate in a world that is otherwise vile. And sometimes the world seems vile, and sometimes it is vile. But it's God's world. And it's not just a vile world. It's not just a world of sin. It's a world of grace.
This is Lawrence Tilley with the Eye on Fordham.